Now, if you're a founder in Miami and someone told you to incorporate in Delaware, you need to hear this before you spend another dollar. In this video, I will explain why Delaware Incorporation is a trap for Miami founders. And we're going to compare the so-called prestige of Delaware against the practical tax and legal benefits of staying right here in Florida. And by the end of this video, you'll learn exactly when Delaware makes sense and when it doesn't, and how choosing the wrong state could cost you tens and thousands of dollars that you never needed to spend. I'm Santiago, Cueto, board-certified international business law expert and best-selling author based right here in Miami, Florida. I spent years helping founders in the city build companies the smart way, and I've watched too many of them fall into this Delaware trap without ever questioning it. All right, so let's break this down. Here's what usually happens. A founder in Miami gets their first real traction. Maybe they're raising a seed round. Maybe they just landed a big client. They go to a lawyer or an accelerator mentor and they hear 5 words that change everything. You need to incorporate in Delaware. It sounds official. It sounds like the next step. And every tech blog on the internet seems to agree. Delaware is the gold standard. Delaware is where serious companies go. Delaware has the best business courts in the country. That last part, it's actually true. The Delaware Court of Chancery is a respected institution. It has over 100 years of corporate case law, and judges there specialize in business disputes. Now, if you're a publicly traded company or a venture-backed startup headed for an IPO, that court system matters. But here's what nobody tells you. Most Miami founders are not headed for an IPO next year. Most are building service companies, e-commerce brands, consulting firms, real estate ventures, or tech startups that are still years away from a Series A. For these founders, Delaware isn't prestige, it's overhead, and that distinction matters more than you think. Let me walk you through what actually happens when a Miami founder incorporates in Delaware. Well, first, you form your entity in Delaware. You pay the state filing fee. You hired a registered agent in Delaware because the state requires you to have one. That's an annual cost every year, whether your business makes money or not. Then you realize something. You still live in Miami. Your office is in Miami. Your clients are in Miami. Your employees are in Miami. Florida says, hey, you're doing business here. You need to register as a foreign corporation. So now you're paying filing fees in 2 states. You're maintaining compliance in 2 states. You're filing annual reports. You guessed it, in 2 states. And here's the part that really stings. Delaware has a franchise tax. Florida does not have a state income tax. Let me say that again. Florida has no state income tax. Delaware charges a franchise tax that can run anywhere from a few $100s to tens of thousands of dollars, depending on how your shares are structured. I've seen founders get hit with a surprise franchise tax bill of over $10,000 simply because they authorized too many shares on bad advice. So now you're paying Delaware's franchise tax, Delaware's registered agent fee, Florida's foreign qualification fee, and potentially a CPA who understands multi-state compliance. All of this for a company that operates entirely in Miami. That's not prestige. That's a leak in your runway. All right, quick pause here. If you're a Miami founder and this is already saving you from a costly mistake, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. I put out videos like this every single week to help founders in Florida protect their money and their businesses. Now let's keep going. I want to be fair. Delaware isn't a scam. It serves a real purpose for a specific kind of company. If you're raising venture capital from institutional investors, many of them do prefer Delaware C Corps. That's because their legal documents, their templates, and their tax structures are built around Delaware law. It reduces friction during due diligence and it speeds up the closing process. Now, if you're planning to go public, Delaware's Court of Chancery offers predictability. Corporate disputes get resolved faster, and there's a deep body of precedent that sophisticated investors rely on. And if you're issuing complex equity structures with multiple classes of stock, Delaware's corporate statutes give you more flexibility than most states. But notice the pattern here. Every single one of those high benefits applies to high growth, venture-backed companies raising millions of dollars. If that's you right now, today, then Delaware might make sense. But if you're a pre-revenue, bootstrapped, or running a business that serves local or regional clients, you're paying for a tuxedo to go grocery shopping. Now let's talk about what Florida actually offers, because it's more than most founders realize. Florida has no state income tax, and that's a big one. Your business profits are not taxed at the state level when you're structured properly. For a growing company, that savings compounds year after year. And Florida's LLC and corporate statutes have been modernized significantly. The Florida Revised LLC Act gives you strong operating agreement flexibility. You can customize management structure, profit sharing arrangements, and transfer restrictions without jumping through hoops. Florida also has strong asset protection laws. The homestead exemption is one of the most powerful in the entire country. Tenancy by the entirety protection for married couples extends to business assets in certain situations. And these are tools that a smart founder can use to protect their personal wealth as their business grows. And here's something people overlook. When you're incorporated in Florida and you operate in Florida, everything is simpler. One state, one set of filings, one registered agent, one compliance calendar. You save money on legal fees, you save money on accounting fees, and you reduce the chance of missing a deadline that can put your company out of good standing. Simplicity is not a small thing. When you're building a business, every hour you spend dealing with unnecessary bureaucracy is an hour you're not spending on growth. I also want to mention the practical legal side. Florida's court system handles business disputes every single day. Miami-Dade County has a dedicated business court. You don't need to fly to Wilmington to resolve a contract disputes with the local vendor. You don't need to hire Delaware counsel on top of your Florida attorney. Keeping things local keeps things affordable. So here's what I tell every founder who sits in my office and asks me this question. The right question is not, should I incorporate in Delaware? The right question is, what does my business actually need now? Now, if you're raising a Series A from a Sand Hill Road venture fund, next quarter, we can talk about Delaware. But if you're converting to a C Corp because your investor requires it, we'll handle that conversion at the right time. But if you're starting a company in Miami, serving clients in Florida, and building revenue before you think about outside capital, there is no reason to complicate your life with a Delaware entity. You're adding cost, you're adding complexity, and you're solving a problem you don't have yet. The best legal structure is the one that matches where your business is today while keeping the door open from where it's going tomorrow. For most Miami founders, that structure starts in Florida. And if the day comes when Delaware makes sense, you can always convert. You can domesticate your entity. You can restructure. Good legal counsel will help you make that transition when the timing is right, not when a blog post told you to. So let me leave you with this. Don't let the myth of prestige cost you real money. Delaware has its place, but for the majority of founders building businesses here in Miami, Florida gives you everything you need at a fraction of the cost and complexity. Now, this video helped you think differently about where to incorporate your business. Hit that like button. And if you want to keep learning how to protect your company and your money, subscribe to this channel. I'm putting out content like this regularly because Miami founders deserve straight answers from someone who actually practices here. I'm Santiago Cueto, your Florida business attorney. Be sure to watch more of my videos right here.